Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Todd Blackman, your Central German, and welcome back. So, in this video, we're doing a book review. So, I'm going to be reviewing this one author who has two books. He goes by the name Mike Drake. So, he's a really cool guy. I got to meet him at the UNT Jazz Workshop, and I got these books before I met him. But when he was over there, he was doing a master class, and he was actually selling his books too. So, it was a great deal. I got his autograph too, so let me show you the autograph I got. Yeah, got his autograph in here, so he's a pretty cool guy. So a little bit about him. He actually studied at UNT. At SOFA was his teacher, and how he got the idea from these books is that his teacher was telling him, "Bro, you got to get out on all limbs," and so it sparked the idea. And technically, well, he actually gave credit to Ed Soph and all that because it what influenced him to figure out different possible stickings and orchestrations for just playing around the drum set in different styles. Because sometimes there might be something that's not a really great sticking or coordination thing, and you have to get through it. So he has two different books. He has a duple version and a triplet version, and I kind of feel like the triplet version should be volume 2, and this one should be volume 1, the duple. But that's the way I was raised and all that. I was raised to do duples and then triples, but that's just me and all that. So in these books and all of that, I'm going to start with the duple because to me that's the easiest thing to learn first is duple. So in the book, it gives like instructions about this book and naming these books, which I kind of mentioned earlier, and a little bit of acknowledgments as well. So he says different ways to practice this book, and that's really great to do with exercising. He also gives out some key points, and he has different sections. So section A is duplet stickings. And section B is duplet stickings, but as more for independent exercising. So in like the first section, it just basically talks about stickings, like some common stickings you might approach, like singles, doubles, paradiddles, and try to mix them up like stick control. It's kind of like a little bit. He's explaining a little bit without explaining stick control. So that's really cool. And section B is pretty much where all the meat and potatoes is. So he talks about like feet combinations, a little bit of orchestration too, but he doesn't mention that too much, but it's always good to mess with orchestration. And on the DVD, it comes with 2 DVDs. And so it has a lot of orchestration going on in this book. So, and then later he has exercises. And during these exercises, he has these things called practice tips. And so these practice tips are very essential for these books. And so technically in this book and all that, there are about, I think it's for 23 exercises, no, 24. There are technically 24 exercises in this book. But on the back, it says there are 2,136 exercises in this book, all with a duplet subdivision. Now, that is with me explaining about different ways to orchestrate it. There are different ways to combination-wise. Like by orchestration, sometimes you can use your right hands and move around, or your left hands. You move around with that, or you can use your feet because there's also feet combinations in this book. So when it adds the hands and feet, you're also working on limb independence. So that's why this book is really cool, because it's working on different combinations on the limbs. So, and it's pretty much the same thing with the triplet, except it's, to me, this is a more deeper and advanced way into going. Now, I can see why he says volume 1 and all that, because most of the jazz stuff was in triplet feel, and then when you get to later in the day, it starts to get more duple, depending on what tune you're doing and what style and the generation too. So this is a really great book, and it pretty much has kind of like the same thing. And a little fun fact, not a lot of people know this, but when I went to the Jazz UNT workshop, Ed Soph, Josue Ponte, and Mike Drake were all there. And Mike Drake, when he gave his clinic, Ed Soph sometimes, Mike Drake usually talks to Ed Soph, and Ed Soph says, I agree, yeah, that's what I said. And so he said, for these books, he calls them the scales for drumming. So these are like, this is like a good book for scales to get a better understanding on how to practice your scales on the drum set. So I really love these books. I practice with them, just get different combinations, and when I play these on the live gigs in a musical sense and they make musical sense, people really go, what in the world did you just do? Like, that's a really cool combination. What did you do? And all that. And so I show them and I explain to them that, oh, I got it from this guy called Mike Drake and all that. So yeah. So that's pretty much about these books. There's not too much, but that's the great thing about these books is that the ideas seem so simple, but once you play it, you think it's so simple, but it's like, no, it's a little new, and it's going to take you some time with these books. But who would I recommend these books to? Well, I definitely think that this book is for any skill level, where you're just beginning, but I think it's a little bit above beginner and all. So, but it just gives a little bit of foundation. So I would like recommend exercise. If it was a beginner, like just do them very slowly with this book. If it's an intermediate player, then this is a pretty good book to get them into different combinations. Because when I learned about combinations, it was kind of like this, but not this in depth. So I really like this book because it deals with more combinations of how to approach swing feel. And you pretty much practice these books with any type of style. So this is a really great book, A+ or S grade, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. So until next time, I'll see y'all in the next video.